right, everybody. Good afternoon from South Texas. My name is Tania Gonzalez, and today I'm here to share with you my love for creativity and bilingual education. So, Beyond Borders is our session. We're celebrating diversity, fostering bilingual education, and strong parent communication. So, I am so excited to be here. And just to tell you a little bit about myself, I've been in this education game for 14 years. I actually was a stay-at-home mommy for about 4 years because I did stay home to take care of my babies. But I love to use technology to embrace everyone and to welcome everybody into my classroom. So I'm always creating neon color, templates and activities to send to my students during the summer so that they can start to get to know their teacher. And this is just one quick example here of how I embrace that and how I show my love in the classroom for my own students. I'm an educator at Fields Elementary, and this is just a little bit about me and what I do in the classroom. So let me get started. Before I do get started, I do want to share that I was that student. I was a student in Reynosa, Tamaulipas, in Ignacio Ramirez. I was there until third grade. And this was back in 1991. My parents brought me to McAllen, Texas, and I was so blessed for the opportunity. But I was so scared, you guys. No sabía nada de inglés. I mean, you would give me pictures and I would survive. You would give me words and I had no idea what was going on. I would hear people talking and I was lost. I was scared that people would make fun of me for the way I would pronounce, certain words until this day. And those of my good friends that hang out with me, they know that I still am learning and I'm still that bilingual, that emergent bilingual student at heart. And it was a very scary experience. And I think this is why this touches so close to me, because I was that student back in 1991, coming to McAllen, Texas with my family, not knowing anything, the culture, the environment, the students. I mean, we didn't know anything. It was all new to us. And it was beyond scary. I mean, if I could go back to those teachers that helped me survive and loved me and loved my parents and communicated in Spanish with my parents right now. I mean, teachers like Miss Angie Cavazos, like my principal at Lincoln Middle School, Miss Rosalinda Martinez, all these individuals would welcome my family and speak our language. And that made a huge difference. So now it's my turn. Now that I'm in the classroom, I try to do that for my babies. We're a familia, we're a family in the classroom, and we embrace that. We love our language, we respect it, and we embrace our English language as well, because they're two powerful languages for the economy that we're currently in. So, I mean, embracing diversity in the classroom, it's an inclusive, it creates inclusive spaces for students. Students feel valued, they feel respected, empowered to contribute their unique experiences and viewpoints. If I give my students that freedom of speech and that freedom to share how they celebrate a Thanksgiving, Dia de los Muertos, you name it. If I make that classroom safe for them to share, they're going to be empowered to share everything through our classroom experiences. And Mote is one of the platforms out there that is so easy to use, not only in the classroom, but sending out information from the classroom, from the student point of view towards their parents. It's, in a diverse setting, and it enriches educational experiences. It exposes our own students to different perspectives because we're all different and we all should respect each other. It fosters empathy because the minute you open up and you start telling me about yourself, guess what? I learn more from you, just like you will from me. And it creates that empathy in the classroom. It fosters critical thinking. It's cultural awareness of where I come from, what I celebrate, what I think is special to me. And it prepares our students to thrive. It's something that, as an individual in the classroom still, I can see it in my littles, how they always try to take care of each other once that culture has been set, and it embraces everyone as a whole unit. Again, Mote makes it easy for us to do this. And that's why I am just so happy to share everything I can. As we all know, benefits of being bilingual. I consider myself to be bilingual, bicultural, biliterate. Both languages hold the same power for me because I could be a strong Spanish speaker cuando voy a la casa de mi abuelita y platico con todos y me comunico con ellos, or I could go to my husband's side of the family and we could all speak the language. Again, we embrace it. It increases brain power in our students. It has an academic advantage because guess what? My bilingual powers have me out there in this global market of people calling me to communicate with them in a different language or teach a certain platform in a different language, because there are over 7,100 languages in the world, and not all of them are as popular as our mainstream languages, but we need to be very receptive to what's out there. So again, cross-cultural competency is awareness and understanding of other cultures. I need to be respectful of your culture just like you need to be respectful of mine. And it's this mutual understanding that starts building in the classroom. You as an educator, you need to take charge of that, and you need to make sure that it gets set in your baby's brains. Everyone's the same. It doesn't matter what color of the rainbow you belong to. It doesn't matter how you smile, how you speak, or how you sound. We don't care where you come from. We want to see your heart. We want to see what you're bringing to us, and we want to learn from you. If you build that type of setting in your classroom will be unstoppable. Our emergent bilinguals are just powerful, super little humans. And this year we did an amazing job with them. And I am hoping next week that we go back to school, well, in 2 more weeks that we go back to school, that the new little faces that I'm already going to meet, that they already know or have an idea of who their crazy teacher is from everything that we've been sending there, and make them feel welcomed. So again, one of the biggest things for me is parent communication. Just like I shared with you in the beginning, my parents did not speak English. I did not speak English. So I had great humans around me during that time, those educators that embraced us. Back in 1991, we were segregated. We were all placed in one classroom, and everybody knew that those were the kids that don't speak English. Ew. And we would get those faces and we would walk to the cafeteria and everybody knew, oh, you guys don't speak English. And at the time, I was too little to understand how powerful I am now. And I was scared, and I would get, my confidence would boost down, and my mom would talk to me about it. And she would tell me, it's okay, Tania, keep going. And échale ganas, mija, aquí estamos. And that support from my family and my teachers communicating towards each other made a huge difference. So again, parents and teachers are 2 of the most important contributors to a student's educational success. Look at me now. I have a master's in education. I'm the first to graduate from my own community here in McAllen, for my family, here in McAllen. And I am so proud. Now we have our younger cousins graduating from college, and we're all embracing that change. Everyone adapted to the opportunity that we were brought to. When parents and teachers communicate well with one another, they are able to support student learning together. Here I'm giving you an example how I'm very, very open. I have an open book with my familia in the classroom. If I'm sick, I literally tell him, familia, estoy enferma. I'm sick. This happened. My baby boy, a couple of months ago, one of my babies, he was choking. We had to take him to the ER. It was a scary sight. And I was very open. I sent out a note to my parents. I told them what was going on, and that makes the family in my classroom even stronger. Our community in our school, we're 94% Hispanic. So our to-go-to language for dual language or bilingual education is Spanish. And as you can see here, Doris and her mommy, they were always in our classroom. We had open doors. We always welcomed them. And it didn't matter that I would send my motes in Spanish or English, because my parents could go in there and you see this cute little translate button. They would hit it. And guess what happens? It translates for them. How powerful is that? I mean, I think about it now. Imagine if our parents had that tool back then. Just imagine how much more powerful we would have been. So for me to share this now in 2023 at this beautiful MoteCon is just amazing. I mean, look what we're doing for our kids. We're making them stronger. We're fostering that connection, that communication between parent and teacher. Very important. Now, right now, as you guys know, we all are going back to school, and there's always some type of creative way to get to know your students. What better way to introduce yourself than to actually mail out something to your students? I am very fortunate to work at a school where my principal, Miss Teresa Trella, embraces technology, embraces communication, welcomes parents into our classroom. And guess what? She actually printed all of these with her administrative team. She printed all these on PDF color, and mail them out as part of the welcome back letter to our students. So now when my students get this, they're able to scan, they're able to hear how crazy their teacher is. They're able to go into my collections and view more and learn more about me. If this is something you're interested, I completely encourage you. You can send it via Class Dojo. You can send it on your Remind. You can send it on any website you like, post it to your teacher website. It does not matter. Again, if you do it in English, Mote translates for you. How powerful is that? If you don't have time to translate in Spanish, all you have to do is make sure your Mote QR code is there. And this is what happens. Conoce a la maestra, la señora T. Gonzalez. Todo sobre mí, mis cosas favoritas. How amazing is that to hear from your teacher before you get to meet her? Our letters were sent out this week. More than likely, our kids are going to be receiving these letters, if not today, by Monday morning. Our community here in McAllen, Texas is very small. We're very united, but they're going to get this welcome letter. Some of them might receive it in English. Some of them might receive them in Spanish. But again, it does not matter because I make sure that Mote helps me translate for them. How powerful is that? I mean, think about the possibilities. Notes going out from the classroom, a good note to a student, pump them up. Señora Salina, su hijo se sacó un 100 en el examen. Your son got 100 on his test for science. For them to hear our voice. And sometimes we have to be realistic. Sometimes parents are not answering. They might be working 24 hours. They might be working during the time that we try to get a hold of them. And it's an inconvenience sometimes when we have time and they don't, and vice versa. Mote makes it easy to communicate from a teacher point of view to the parent. So again, English, Spanish, does not matter. Any other language is out there and it'll support you. Effective communication builds understanding and trust. My mother had great communication with Miss Angie Cavazos back in 1991 at Navarro Elementary. And I still remember those talks. They would talk after school. They would talk during school. My mother was a parent volunteer. And again, I had that support. I felt welcome. I still remember that some of the parents in that classroom donated a carpet and we all used to sit at this new carpet. I mean, this was also new to me. And again, this is why I have so much love. Sometimes I don't have time to send out or to translate one of the templates that I create via Adobe Express. But guess what? I don't get worried at all because I just record or translate myself via Mote, send it out Class Dojo. My parents will get their newsletter and they'll listen to me explain that newsletter in Spanish. Our communication through our school district always goes out in English and Spanish. It's never a problem. But a lot of the things that I create in the classroom, sometimes I don't have time to do it. And I'm like, okay, I could send out a Mote. I'll explain. The parent will get it and she'll understand or he'll understand. So again, effective communication, it will break barriers in your classroom. Another simple way that you can use Mote in the classroom is culture projects. I am all about cultura, and it doesn't matter where you're from. If you're new to this country and you want to teach us your culture, I will adapt my lesson plan to make that student feel welcome in my classroom. It's grace before grace and love before teaching any day for me. I will make sure that every single little human being in my classroom is happy and smiling because that is how I was brought up. That is what embraces me to continue wanting to be in the classroom. This was created via Adobe Express templates. It was a template, a remix that Claudia Zavala created for us. And it was a way that we could foster student voice and we could share with our parents. The students can share via Mote how they feel about this current Dia de los Muertos day to celebrate the dead. In English, it might sound very strong and scary, but in our culture, it's something beautiful. It's something that we embrace. It's how we remember those who paved the way for us to be here. So again, understanding culture, that diversity and embracing it, creating a safe place for my students, it all goes within the teaching and the whole familia-oriented environment that we create in the classroom. So simple way to create. And this could also go into Easter. Maybe you could do one for Easter and you can ask them, hey, how many Easter eggs did you find this time? I mean, the possibilities are just endless. It just depends how you as a teacher embrace it. One of the things that we also did this year is we created the de las Madres templates for our moms. And this beautiful lady right here is Hortensia Manrique, my mother, my beautiful sister, and myself, this little chunky monkey right here. That's me. I am all about family unit and respecting and giving everyone their time, their space, whatever it is that they need. And that is something that we create in the classroom. My babies were strong creators. They would create these beautiful templates, Philadelphia Express, and they were able to showcase that love and affection for their parents. All we had to do was record their Mote, send it to their parents, and their parent would get so excited. I mean, not only were we printing these out through our amazing, colorful printer that I could brag about, but we were also given that communication in the classroom. We would sing the mañanitas in the classroom. That's a tradition to do for day of Mother's Day in Mexico. You would go and take mariachis to your mom's home and you would play las mañanitas. And it's just a simple tradition that we all embrace together and that we all grow from. And I mean, I see Sophia and Natasha here, and I'm going to miss them so much. This was such a growth year for me as an educator because I got to teach them and I learned so much from them. We embraced technology. We embraced our culture. We loved each other. Yes, we all had our ups and downs throughout the classroom, but because those expectations of, you know, our diversity and embracing it and respecting each other and empowering them to learn at their own space or time, that made a huge difference for us. So here it is, you guys. Mote fosters that culture. Mote gives us the tools to communicate to our parents, to send out notes when some of our students do well on a test. It's all in that little cute purple icon that you send out to them. They're able to click a link, listen to your voice, get to know you better, and reply to your response with, gracias, maestra. Thank you, teacher. You're making a difference. Those are the things that I go to Fields Elementary to teach. I share my love for them, not only in our classroom, but, you know, in society. And I want them to become productive members of this community. I want our community to continue improving. And these individuals in my last year's third grade classroom are going to do that for us. Amplify student voice. Thank you, Mote. You've done that for me this entire year, and I hope to embrace it this coming year as well, because this is one proud teacher to use Mote any day. And with that said, familia to me is the biggest love that I could share with you. If I meet you, you will become my friend, because that's how I was raised. That's how I love my students. I want to thank you, Alex, for being here and giving me the opportunity to join this amazing MoteCon. My friend Fonz, thank you so much for your support. And guys at MoteCon, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share a little bit of the creativity side that we have shared in our classroom through Mote. Thank you, Mote, for giving me that opportunity.
Thank you so much, Tania. It was great to have your energy closing us out for this session. And I have to say, when I started in education, I was in Sunset Park, Brooklyn. And so we had probably a very similar demographic, and so many of our families were newcomers. And I have been at 4 different schools in another state, and those newcomer families were the most engaged families in our school, and they really created such a community. And so Mote, if I had Mote 20 years ago to help me communicate with these families, it would have been a great tool. And
Absolutely.
so these families want to take part in their students' education.
And they're very receptive. They're very loving to what we provide for them. Some of us come from a place where there's no AC or heater in our classroom. The windows are broken. There's a broken desk. And we walk into this beautiful classroom and you see that there's light and that there's AC. Those things that a lot of people take, you know, for granted. those were the first things. I mean, they were giving me food in the cafeteria. It was an amazing world for me to discover. And that's the part of me that I want to share with my students every single year, because that made a huge difference for me. And again, Mote's just a platform of the wonderful, education tools that we have as teacher toolbox out there that embraces that for us and give us the capability to communicate with some of my parents. You have to realize some of my parents can't read, they can't write, but they can listen. And your voice holds a lot of power. You can hear my love for education when I speak. I can hear your excitement about how you would have loved to communicate with those parents. So imagine that love that we share with them and how they hear it, how receptive they are to that. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, and thank
Thank
you for
you.
bringing
And
your energy
creating.
and your beautiful graphics,
Thank
because
you.
they are stunning. And so, thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
so
taking your
much.
time. And Will's gonna help us like conclude, and I'm sure say thank you himself as he
Absolutely.
joins us
Absolutely.
here on
Thank you.
stage.
Hey, yeah, that was amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Tanya, like, I mean, I always love hearing these stories that bring to life so much better. As you say, hearing it from you is better. I read lots of emails from users, and I sometimes get the privilege to talk to the users as well about their experiences. And I think the way you describe how you work with your with the students
Yeah.
and parents and their experiences, it's very gratifying. I'm gonna share.
Of
I
course.
think everyone in our team is going to love watching this. So thank you so much. Really appreciated it. And thank you for everyone contributing. This is a really interactive and fun session.